Welcome Year 7. This is the COVID cover work for the week commencing Tuesday the 3rd of November. You can either print off this book, it should be on the Moodle website, or you can just do this work on paper and then stick it into your book once you come back into school, whenever that may be. So you can write your name and your form on the front of the book. And then we're just going to go back and have a little look at lab safety. Circle anything that you think is dangerous here. Well, if I circle just one or two of these, it'll give you a flavour of what I'm expecting. So it's obviously dangerous here. This chap is smelling dangerous chemicals. We've got someone pushing another person here and that person slipping over. So what I'm going to do is pause the video for a second and let's see how many you can pick up. So I wonder how many rules you found that were being broken. What rules do you think a science lab has that are different to a normal classroom? Use the table below and complete it using the previous cartoon to show the unsafe thing, explain why it is unsafe, and what should be done to make sure it is safe. Well, I will be writing down in this column here the unsafe thing. I think we'll look at the boy that was not wearing goggles. So the unsafe thing is not wearing goggles. You would be writing that down in here. Why is this unsafe? Well, it's unsafe because he could damage his eyes. Nasty. And the last one would be, what should be done to make sure it is safe? Well, making sure that we're wearing goggles before we start an experiment. So if you would complete that table, having completed the table, here are some of the other lab rules for science lessons at Pontarddulais Comprehensive School. You must not do anything with equipment unless told to do so by a teacher. You must follow instructions precisely. We then go on to talk about wearing safety glasses when carrying out experiments, and only take them off when all practical work, including clearing away, is finished, etc., etc. What I'd like you to do is read through the remaining lab rules here. I shall pause it for a second. Now, having read the rules for Pontarddulais Science Labs, can you add two more important rules for working in a laboratory to the list? I am thinking number one, I'm not going to write it down, I leave that up to you, but number one, I would be certainly, when I'm starting an experiment, I would be standing up and putting my chair underneath the table and making sure that my bag is underneath the table as well. Making also sure that my hair is tied back and my shoelaces are done up. All of these things are very important. If you could come up with two rules of your own in this space, that would be fantastic. In science, we often use chemicals that are dangerous in a variety of different ways. Those chemicals, solids, liquids or gases, if they are dangerous, you want to know. And so they are clearly labelled up with hazard symbols. Now, what I would like you to do is, using the diagrams, the 8 diagrams and the 8 terms at the bottom of the page, see if you can't link up the correct wordings to the correct diagram. I would pause this now and I'll come back to the answers in just a moment. So I wonder whether your answers are correct. It doesn't matter if they're not. It's all about giving it a go. So I think the first one that I'm going to have a look at is corrosive. This one is linked up here. Strong acids and strong alkalis can dissolve substances, including your hand, flesh. So you must be very careful of corrosive substances. Poisonous substances damage your health. Poisonous. An environmental hazard is something that if it leaked into the environment could kill living things, like fish, like trees. An irritant. You'll get a reaction, often a skin reaction. Irritants. Here. Things that are flammable can cause a fire. It's one of these two. It's this one. Explosive. Fireworks explode, of course. Explosive. Radioactive. We'll be learning more about radioactive materials in year 11. And oxidizing, release oxygen, and that can often lead to a fire. Those are the correct answers. Matter exists in three forms. What are they? Well, you can see a rare type of metal there. It's mercury. It's a liquid at room temperature. You've also got a gas. In the jar, you have a sort of yellowy green chlorine gas used to kill bacteria in swimming pools. And on the right hand side, you've got the one of the hardest naturally occurring substances. That will be diamond. So we have solids, liquids and gases. We're now going to watch a video on solids, liquids and gases.
SLG booklet year 7, we're going to start looking at solids, liquids and gases, and we've got several solids, liquids and gases here. In your booklet you need to make a table and decide which ones of these are solids, which ones are liquids and which ones are gases. We're going to start with a penny, then we've got a marble, then we've got wax, we've got a piece of wood, jelly, plasticine. Remember, jelly and plasticine, when you squash them, will change shape, but they'll stay in their shape then. We've got lead, sponge, you've got air. We've got to keep a stopper on that with the air in there, and we've got water. So record in your table now which ones are solids, liquids and gases.
So here's the items, the 1p coin, the marble, the wax, the lead, etc, etc. You've viewed the video. Now construct a 3-column table with the headings solids, liquids and gases. So there's one column. There's the other two. I'll put the headings in here. And you would be writing in solids on the left-hand column, liquids in the middle column heading, and gases on the end, and then you just put those items into the correct column. So on you go with that, and I'll see you in a moment.